I'm going to attempt to get fuel all the way to the carburetor bowl by pressurizing the gas tank. Will I be successful? I don't know. Watch the birdie now. Okay, we are getting ready to fire this Chevy 216 off for the first time since 1989. I was 8 years old the last time this thing ran. Now, the difficulty is the cylinder head was rebuilt and valves were ground, and so our valve lash is not correct. Now, your manuals are only going to give you values for a hot engine because that's when they wanted it adjusted, when the engine was hot. So what do you do when it's cold and you have no idea where you are? Well, you're going to add a couple thousandths to the hot value. So this engine, they say on the intakes, 6 to 8 thousandths clearance between the valve stem and the rocker, and then on the exhaust 13 to 15. So I'm going to add 2 thousandths to each of those. So I'll probably do 10 thousandths on the intake, 17 or 18 thousandths on the exhaust. And that should get this engine running. And then once it's hot, we can recheck them and get them to that 6 and 13 value. Okay, so I have adjusted half the valves, and boy did they need it. I'll just go through that with you right now. I'll show you a picture of what the BB looks like down in that window. But basically, I'm going to turn it. So just like on the 292, when I went through adjusting the valve lash on that, I'm doing the same procedure here. I've got number 1 at top dead center firing, and I adjust half the valves. Certain valves can be adjusted in that position. Then I'm going to turn it another revolution. So number 6 is at top dead center firing, and I'll adjust the other 6 valves. So let's just do that. If your engine is somewhat free, you should be able to turn the crank just with the fan. And I'm just looking in that window down there, looking for the timing mark to come. See the valves moving. It should be coming up on it, according to the rotor. Oh, you know, if I took the spark plugs out, this would probably be a little easier too. Okay, there's a triangle. There's the BB. Get that in line. There we go. Alright, well, I'll put a chart up like I did on the 292, what valves to adjust with number 1 top dead center, what valves to adjust with number 6 top dead center. Same thing. So with number 6 at top dead center, the first valve I'm going to adjust here is on the second cylinder, number 4 valve. And they had those horsed down pretty good. Okay, it's an exhaust valve, so I'm going to do the 18. And you want oil. You want to be sure that there's oil in between the valve stem and the rocker arm. I have assembly lube in there yet. And I just go down till there's a nice drag on the feeler gauge. Hold the screwdriver in place. Turn the nut. It's a 5/8. And we recheck it. Yep. Okay, so I think number 6 is next. Should be this one, and that's an intake, so it'll be our 10 thousandths. Before I break my knuckles open, let me just do this. There we go. Just take all the preload off of that. 10. Obviously, the exhaust is a greater gap because they get hotter. The intake has the cool air fuel mixture coming through it. The exhaust has the hot exhaust going through it. So the two valves are two different temperatures. Okay, I'll get the other 4 valves off camera, and then we'll try firing it up. Okay, I'm exhaust. Would you listen to that thing? Woohoo! I'm a little low on vacuum, so I'll have to look around and recheck my bolts on my carburetor and my intake. But man, she's just purring away. Yeah! Looks like all our gauges were working right. We got about a quarter of a tank, which I put 5 gallons in, so that'd be correct. Our temperature's between 180 and 220, so about 200, which is correct. The battery is charging. Oil pressure looks a little low, but we do have pressure. Good. Rocking out to Kansas, drinking a Dr. Pepper, adjusting valve lash on a stove bolt Chevy. Life shouldn't be this good. Okay, I've readjusted them hot. I'm good, and I also rechecked all my manifold bolts. So we'll crank it up and see if we got a little bit better vacuum. Do you want to know how awesome a Chevy 6 is? I had popped the cap off to check my rotor. Completely loose. Just hanging out there. It was running. I'm an idiot, but hey. Okay, I'm gonna try my hardest to show you the timing mark. I mean, there's a lot in the way. But I've got what they call the octane selector down here. Well, it's not quite centered. It's just a tiny bit towards retarded. And I'll try to get you in there. I don't know. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's pretty much exactly lined up with the BB pressed into the flywheel, which is exactly where we want it. So I'll double check and make sure that is tightened down. We're probably running a little fast. I could slow that down and recheck it. But man, it sounds good how it is. So I think I'll throw the valve cover on. We're done there. And we might just take her for a spin. I ordered a new decal for this thing 10 days ago. And since then it's gone from California to Maryland, back to California, and it said it was delayed in the mail the entire time due to severe weather. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, I think we are just about ready. I've got no leaks. I had a shifting problem. I could not get the gear shift handle to come forward or towards you to go into first or reverse. And what that was, so you've got your main shift linkage here, and then you've got a smaller rod here that goes to a smaller shaft on the cover of the transmission down there. And this, I needed to adjust this point out. It was not swinging that arm down on the transmission far enough. So once I adjusted that, then I've got first and reverse real easy. So we've got that done. Oh, I did have a leak. The oil pressure line in the engine, or in the behind the gauge, oil was dripping on the floor. So I disconnected it here at the engine and I plugged it down there. So that line has got a hole in it inside the cab, so that will have to be replaced. For now, I think I'm going to risk a very slow drive down country roads on these old tires. Got 5 miles to work where there is a wash bay, and I think I'm going to wash this thing off, and that'll be a good test drive and see if everything is the drivability is good. So we're going to do that now, and yeah, I'll bring you along. Oh, I better tighten that negative clamp before I go, just so that doesn't loosen. So loud over here. Kleenex dispenser. I've never had so much fun in all my life. I love doing this stuff. I'm keeping it about 30. The owner is definitely going to have to invest in tires and tie rods, because they are shot. But otherwise, she is humming like a Singer sewing machine here. Just another mile and I'll be there. Well, that was effective. Well, I've got to admit that even though this isn't my favorite year model, it's just a few model years too new, it is a lot of fun to drive. Having second thoughts about selling that four-door. I don't know. Guys, that's going to do it for this series. We've had our highs and lows, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to be sad to see the old girl go, to be honest with you. Thanks a lot for joining me. If you like what you saw, go over and check out the project on the 66 pickup. I've got maybe 2 more videos on that. And then I was looking forward to maybe starting in on my 86 GMC, but I've kind of got several more interesting projects lined up that I think you'll enjoy. So for now, we're going to wait till the owner comes and gets this, and then we'll get something else in here. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to put some Glenn Miller on the phonograph and geek out like it's 1948.